Hey all you mystery cats and meddling kids, it's your girl Pammy Chanel back with another video. Today we are talking about the 5 reasons why Diana, Sarah, and Meghan were not successful in the royal family. Guess what? Out of those 5, I will not be mentioning racism at all when it comes to Meghan. Regardless of how you feel about these women, it can't be denied that the tabloids and the firm worked against these women to make their royal lives miserable. You may be wondering why I am including Princess Diana. Everyone loved her. But the 1995 Panorama interview with Martin Bashir was a game changer, and the British people had strong opinions about her comments, some not so pleasant. Here's a snippet of some of their views. This portion contains comments about EDs. If you are suffering from an ED or this makes you uncomfortable, please skip ahead.
Ross Hazel Clark from Sheffield.
I watched sympathetically until Diana said, "I want to be queen of people's hearts," and that was it for me. She'd gone over the top. And all I could think of then was those 2 boys. Both the parents have bared their souls and their marriages on television. How could she do it to her children?
And Joanna Chivers.
I was particularly incensed with the bit that I did see about her children, and she wants to be close to her boys, and the image that she's projected over the years of being a loving mother who'll do anything for her sons. She'll teach them how to throw up so that they don't have to do what they want to. She'll teach them how to stamp their tiny feet. She'll teach them to lie. She'll teach them to manipulate their friends so that the world gets their side of the story.
The first reason why Diana, Sarah, and Meghan did not succeed in the royal family is because they thought they were joining an actual family. All 3 women came from broken homes. As I mentioned in my previous video, Diana's parents split up when she was 7, and a nasty custody battle ended with her and her siblings living with their father. She also had a horrible relationship with her stepmother. Sarah was 15 when her parents divorced, and according to Sarah, she began to overeat to compensate for the pain. Meghan's parents officially divorced when she was 6, although they split up when she was 2. She has publicly stated that she did not have a close relationship with her older siblings, but she did get along with her father and especially her mother. There's a lot of drama surrounding her family, and the jury is still out on how much of a stable environment she was in. Maybe when she finally writes a book, the truth will come out, although I'm sure her family members will probably try to sue her. One can see how these women really wanted to become welcomed or be welcomed in because the facade is that the royal families are just like us. They have family dinners, they have holidays. One would think a stable, loving relationship. The problem is, the women did not understand that the royal family is not a family, but a firm. The firm is the unofficial nickname of the royal family that dates back to King George VI, Queen Elizabeth's father. Allegedly, it stems from a statement that he made saying that he and the rest of the royals were not a family, we're a firm. And it has stuck. The firm includes senior royals, of course, and the offices that manage the royal affairs. It's like a company whose sole purpose is to make sure that the crown is protected and viewed in the best light. Remember, the Queen's grandfather, George V, rescinded an offer to his cousin, the Tsar Nicholas II, of Russia for him and his family to come to the UK after he was overthrown by the people during the Russian Revolution, because he did not want the same fate to happen to him. The Tsar and his wife and children were all murdered by the Bolsheviks. They will sacrifice their own to maintain the crown. These women did not understand that their vision of a family did not align with royal tradition. The second reason why Diana, Sarah, and Meghan were not successful in the royal family is the position of the men they married. For Diana, she married an heir to the throne, the Prince of Wales. For Sarah and Meghan, they married the Spares. If we compare Diana and Kate Middleton, Kate will come off looking more prepared for her role, mainly because the firm knew they could not make the same mistake they made when it came to Diana. They wanted to make sure that Kate was prepared for the role as the mother to an heir and the future queen consort. Also, she and William dated off and on for 10 years, so she had more time to assimilate, whereas Diana only dated Charles for 6 months. She was thrusted into the spotlight at a young age and was not prepared. As for Sarah and Meghan, they married Spares and probably did not receive the same care as the heir's wife. This is getting this is probably more towards Kate and Meghan, because at least Sarah had spent time around the royals prior to their marriage to Andrew, and she kind of knew what was up. Meghan, on the other hand, is American and most likely had no true idea of what she was getting herself into. The marriage of a spare really isn't supposed to outshine the marriage of the direct line to the throne. As the wife of a spare, the firm will not defend them if it means making their heir's marriage look bad. And I'm going to use a reference from the claim that Meghan made Kate cry when allegedly it was the opposite. This brings us to our third reason why they were not successful in the royal family. Someone always has to be the villain. Now, I preferably like villains, but someone always has to be the villain. The media has gone out of their way, especially in the 80s and the 90s, to pit Diana against Sarah, and then now in the present day, Kate against Meghan. We don't know what goes on behind the palace walls, but there sure seems to be a lot of palace sources willing to spill some tea. Diana also became the bad guy during her marriage breakdown with Charles. He and his friends teamed up against her, leaking stories and recordings to the press. They always have to make sure the crown shines. Take Will and Harry's wild use, for example. Allegedly, Will was out there doing the same things, maybe not in the Nazi costume, but the same things in regards to drugs as Harry. But Harry's troubles were published and put front and center because Will one day wear the crown and must be seen in a more positive light. Same goes for the women. Sarah was criticized for not dressing like Diana and not being more demure, while Meghan was criticized for touching her baby bump as it was seen as being obsessive. But when Kate did the same thing, it was seen as being nurturing. Stepping out of line in the royal family will automatically make you a target, and they were not prepared for it. The fourth reason why Diana, Sarah, and Meghan were not successful in the royal family is the media. Oh my God, the media. The media pits these women against each other and creates this narrative. And I always thought the U.S. tabloids were horrible. If you've seen some of the things they put out about Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, just other celebrities, you think that the United States tabloids are horrible, but they have nothing on the smear campaigns the British tabloids do. And the scary part about it is that the British tabloids work within the firm to get the information they need to get. They were extremely horrible to Sarah Ferguson. And the only thing that, in my opinion, makes Meghan's situation a little bit worse than Sarah Ferguson's situation is the fact that they're going after Meghan's kids. They're worried about what Archie was going to look like, calling him a monkey. They try to say that Lilibet was not actually hers. Like, we can talk about the adults, but we're going to leave the children out of it. But really, if we took the kid part out of it, Sarah Ferguson was done way more dirtier than Meghan. Because the tabloids really went in on her. She changed her whole look. She lost weight, started working with a stylist. She did everything she could to try to improve her image. Although it's kind of tarnished now with all the shady stuff she did trying to sell access to Andrew. But, that's a whole nother issue about leading these lives where you're up here in status and then you get a divorce and you're back down to the ground. Anytime something was negative coming out about Diana during her marriage with Charles, the tabloids would post something negative about Sarah. The same thing can be said with Will and Kate and Harry and Meghan. You can also lump Prince Andrew up into this with his recent issues. Every time something is about to be exposed about Andrew, they beeline to the Sussex. The palace has people working alongside the major tabloids. They can leak stories and make them disappear. This brings us to our fifth and final reason why Diana, Sarah, and Meghan were not successful in the royal family. No one can outshine the crown. At this point in history, Queen Elizabeth cannot be outshined. She has served her country and is well received amongst the British people. I'm focusing more on the jealousy of Charles and William. As Diana became more popular with the people during her marriage to Charles, in public outings, they were more interested in seeing her than Charles. Allegedly, Charles became very bitter and jealous, and they began scheduling more solo engagements. When it comes to Sarah, her relationship with Andrew seemed more authentic, and the public loved their interactions, unlike Charles and Diana, who were more reserved. When it comes to Meghan and Harry, before the Mexit, or however you say it, Megxit, whatever they call it over there, they were becoming more popular than Kate and William, especially outside of Britain. For the royal family, the crown is bigger than one person, and having one person outshine the crown is not tolerated. They're just not going to tolerate it. They're going to start that smear campaign against them. But in conclusion, these women were doomed from the start because they did not have a full understanding of what royal life really was, and people within the firm working against them instead of helping them. But in my next series on the royal family, we will dig into Queen Elizabeth's grandparents and what was the possible cause of her father's stutter and why her uncle would give up the throne for a twice divorced woman. I'm telling you, the royal family has more tea in them little teacups than anybody. But until next time, guys, stay nosy and stay meddling. Bye.